what's up, guys? You're here today with another episode of Aim with Purpose. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Burke.
What's going on, guys?
And today we're going to interview my boy, Rafay.
What's
Jamal. He's a local fitness influencer, and we have known each other for about a year and a half. And today's episode, we're just going to really briefly touch on how he grew his presence, what got him here, and his social media presence through fitness, and just other topics we'll touch on today. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So tell us a little about yourself, Rafay.
So I'm currently 20 years old, and I'm from Pakistan, and I've basically been lifting for about 2.5 years now, and I've been growing my page for about a year and a half now, and I've been doing that consistently, and I've been also doing it with a couple other people as well. And right now my goal is to kind of keep pushing on that page and kind of spread my message. And recently I've actually gotten closer to God and my religion, so I've been trying to turn kind of towards that way to push that message as well.
That's awesome.
That's fire. And when around is the time when you started the page?
I started the page late 2021. Like towards the end of the year, 2021, going into 2022. And I pretty much just started it. It started off as just me tracking my progress because I was kind of inspired by people like David Lade and like his boys. And I was just like, if I start this and start posting, it could either turn into something or it could either go to like doo-doo. So
Sorry guys, we got a little bit of audio complication. My dogs are bizarrely wild, but where we were just talking about when his page started. So Matt had a question about that.
Yeah, just the kind of the start, the mindset behind. Well, I guess because I'm guessing you started working out before you started filming.
Yeah.
So what was the first motivation for the just to start working out? Because everybody has that thing that kind of drove them to do it, and then the capitalization on the opportunity to film it to spread positivity.
Yeah. So pretty much at 17 years old, I was 111 pounds at like
how much are you now?
Single digit. I'm around 160 now.
Fire.
And so it was just like being that weight at that age, with seeing everybody around me, it kind of triggered like depression and all that stuff. Like kind of just felt really down about myself. And then watching like my biggest role model was David Lade. Obviously, like a lot of people like look up to him as well, just because of his transformation. He started off like a skinny kid, turned into like a beast. But watching him, I was like, if this person can do it, like why not me? Because I was just so sick and tired of people like constantly being like, yo bro, you need to eat. It was like almost to the point I'd go to any family function, anywhere I'd go, they'd like touch my arms and be like, bro, do you eat? Bro, do you eat? And so it's like as a kid, like this was even before like I was in high school, like it was going on my whole life. So like it kind of just like a whole build up, and I was just like so fed up with like everybody. I kind of like started isolating myself. I'd literally like put on a whole hoodie. I'd go to the gym like 2 times a day. I'd be deadlifting, benching, all that stuff, like all in the same day. And I did that for so long. And like I was so isolated while doing it. But at the same time, like while I was doing that, I found the most mental clarity I've ever had. Like I would take all of that, like that rage that I had, I would just go take it out on the weights. And like people would be asking me like, why are you in there for so long? Like you don't need to be that long. And I just didn't have an answer to give them, because I was like, like it's not just physical benefits for me. Like at the end of the day, like, I'm going like when I'm done with my lift, like I feel like I'm at peace, And so doing that, like it kind of just built up. And like the way I started lifting, I was kind of more powerlifting focused. Like I wanted to get my strength up, right? And so I was doing that and just like staying consistent. I slowly started to see gains. Like when you start lifting, like the first 2 months, you make something called newbie gains. It's like you pack on a good amount of muscle. And so that time frame, like it gave me the motivation I needed to never stop, because like I saw those little changes. I was like, if I can do this, like imagine what I can be down in like a year or two. And then going to your point, what made me start filming was, so I actually had one of my friends, Jason, he was already filming, and at the gym I was at, and so I was like seeing him, and I like seeing him like start like with like literally 0 followers, and him building his way up, and I was like, shoot, maybe I have a chance with this. So and like seeing like my gains, since I'm a relatively leaner person, like it's like easier to like see your definition and all that stuff. And I was like, this would probably be interesting. Like people can see me grow like at lean naturally, and see me progress from like a literally 111 pound stick with single digit body fat to like someone who can lift like actual numbers now. And so when I started, actually what happened was within like a week, for some reason, like one of the first few videos I posted hit like 3 million on TikTok.
That's God's plan, bro.
Yeah,
That's
and
sick.
that right there, that was kind of just where I just did not stop. From that point on, like every single day I drop a reel, a post, and like I would have like people, like the hate comments were the worst. Like when I first started, since I wasn't even big, I didn't lift any numbers or anything. I just had abs because I was a skinny kid, and so like they did numbers, but like the amount of hate was that like it was ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I told myself, I was like, it's still getting views, it's still getting like publicity, so if I just keep building, if I get bigger and better, then they're not gonna be able to say anything, right? And so just every single day, no matter what people told me, I was just posting, and then eventually just like the gains came, the followers came, and the message came. And so as that built up, I kind of like sat back and I was like, all right, this could actually go somewhere. What should I like actually preach? So now I'm kind of at that stage where I'm trying to push like my personal life messages and what I've accomplished and what I've learned. Because a lot of people think that going to the gym is just, oh, you go, you lift, you eat, and you get big. But that's not the case. Like, half the time, it's a mental battle. Like, showing up is, like, the hardest part sometimes. Because it's, like, you can go all you want, but sometimes you're just in so much pain, and you just are so demotivated because you, like, you hit a plateau. Like, you're not making gains for a couple months, right? And then that gets people demotivated. So the direction that I wanted to choose was, like, to show people, like, no matter what, like, if you just show up, like, that's just half the battle, and it's gonna come to you, like, regardless. So, and now, like, my journey with, like, God has been, like, past 2 months especially, I've been doing a lot of research into my religion. I'm Muslim, and I've been researching a lot into Islam and God, and I've built a really good connection. I've been at, like, serious peace, honestly, like within myself. Like, I used to be super anxious about every little thing, whether it's school, friends, or, like, the smallest obstacle that came in my way. Like, I'd be so anxious and so, like, stressed out. But these past couple months, ever since I got closer to God, like, I've been at such peace. And now my, like, whole direction for this page is to push that message and just teach people what I've learned. Like, I could care less about how many followers I have. I could care less about how big I get, like, physically, and, like, what my numbers are, as long as I can, like,
help somebody.
Yeah, as long as I can help somebody and make them realize, like, they're not alone, and that, like, everybody starts somewhere. That'll make me satisfied, and I know that'll make God satisfied as well.
That's how, bro. I'm completely the same way. I feel like that's the way I've lived my life the last 2 years, is just trying to pass on the knowledge I know and pass on the love that I have to other people, so we can all continue to grow. And I know that God would be satisfied with the way I live my life as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've definitely found it's about 6 to 7 months. I've also been trying to grow my relationship with like God. And personally, bro, the same way. Like, immediately it was as if, like, all anxiety and the future, like, just anything I would worry about, negative emotion, it just lifted off my body.
Exactly.
As if, like, I don't know, it's just something I was missing my whole life. It was just perfect, bro, and I definitely relate with that. You were about to say something there?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the haters. I just want to touch on that part. Is that at the beginning they were there, and I'm sure now they're there.
They're still
there. It's just something that, like, they'll always judge you in the process that you're in, and they'll never acknowledge the progress that you made.
Exactly.
Because there's always this person that's better than that person, but they don't take into account, like, your own personal development throughout that time.
It was cool because I actually did start working at TFE end of January, and Rafay said he just started his account like at the end of 2021, right?
Yeah.
So, bro, I literally saw his growth. Like, like, I literally remember, like, right when he started his account, probably the first 3 months, I started working at TFE and saw his account grow and grow, and how, like, consistent you were with posting, how dedicated, just everything, the full 9 yards. Like, it was fire to see too. And I actually fuck with how you're trying to push a different type of message now, because you're realizing the power that you have.
Yeah,
that's the same
like,
way I want to get.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, I'm not a perfect human. Like, I went through a phase where I was really depressed, and I chose to, like, go the wrong way about it. Like, before I started going to the gym for my problems, I used to go elsewhere. I'd be in the wrong company doing the wrong things, like, damaging my body even more. And so, like, that's why I think that, like, it's important for me to push that positive message, because people have seen me in that phase, and people have known that I've been through that phase. So now being able to see me grow, I think that's gonna be the biggest part, because now people look at me and they're like, dang, but that really used to be you. Like what happened? Like, you know, and that's my biggest thing. It's like, it's just a journey, and if you just stay consistent, and it's all a mindset thing. Like, I used to tell myself, oh, I'm never gonna be big. People used to tell me, oh, you'll never pack on muscle like that, and all that stuff. It would get to me, but as soon as I switched my mindset and told myself, like, why not me? Like, that's when everything changed. When I really started trying. Like he said, like, I was literally posting, like, 1 to 2 reels a day,
It was
plus a
crazy.
post, plus TikToks, all this. I did not listen to anybody. Like, no, like, as much hate as I got, I was like, all right, bet, give me more. Because I was like, at the end, it's just gonna fuel me even more. So I just kept pushing that, and like, thank God, it built up on itself. And
it's that why not factor that really sets it apart, because it's so easy to compare and think of like, why don't I have this? But it's like, why, like, what makes me so unworthy of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish?
And out of
you're good.
Out of everybody that I actually have grown up around the last 3 years, even though we weren't as close friends when I first like got to TFE, because we didn't talk until I like probably halfway of me working.
Yeah, I'm a very like
introverted. Quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, and also we just went at different times. I only worked nights. I would hide the last like 4 hours of my shift, so that's probably why. But dude, out of how consistent you were, it was like really just like cool thing to see, I guess, if you will, to see how consistent and dedicated you were. Because I remember stumbling around along Jason's page when I was working at TFE, because I was going through Instagram. I see a TFE bench, and I was like, dude, that's the gym I just applied for, like I work at. And then I remember you like commented on something, or I might have saw you too, and then I clicked on your page, and I was like, this kid looks stupid familiar. And I was like, oh wait, he actually works at TFE. So then I gave you a follow, and you and Jason a follow, and it was just cool to see how consistent you were and how dedicated you were to the grind. And as well, you said like you said, why not me? Like that why not factor. I was the same way, dude. I was 240 in high school. I played offensive line.
I remember that.
I was a fat fuck. I was literally like obese. Like if a doctor saw me 5 years ago, he would legally say like, your BMI. You are a beast, my dog.
And I remember when you used to hang with Ben Steinberg.
That's my dog.
I was
you used to live in that neighborhood, right?
I'm a neighbor, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's what made you. Remember Max?
Yeah, Max is my neighbor, bro. I still be talking to Max. That's my boy.
Yeah. He's doing well. I did some fucked up shit to that kid. I pulled up on the airsoft gun.
I remember that. I was there, bro. We were playing basketball. This man pulls out an airsoft gun. Starts firing blank CO2 shots, and we scared as shit, bro.
I didn't even know these kids, bro. I was like, Ben, we were mad bored. I was like, we should go do some stupid shit. And he was like, bro, like he's always just fucking with me, like saying I'm stupid. So he had this airsoft gun that I would just like fuck around with like I was a gang member. And I was like, we should go fuck with these kids. So Ben wanted to go shoot hoops, and it was him and Max. Like I think it might have been one more person. And then pulled up with I had the airsoft gun in our backpack, and I just like threatened this Max kid. I should have been locked up. That was the stupidest shit. I'm so sorry if you're hearing
scared,
this.
Bro.
I pray for you. Yeah, that was I'm so sorry, bro.
Shout out to Max. So he's been on his journey too. Like
I saw him a brick ago.
Yeah, he lost weight, well over 100 pounds.
He went to TFE. I saw him too. Yeah. I just don't want to walk up and be like, yo, like I traumatized you. I'm sorry. He brought that up like a year later. He was like, bro, I was so scared. He told Ben, like, that's so fucked. But we were
like 7th graders.
I feel like we were younger than that. Yeah, about 7th grade.
Yeah, y'all were in high school and we were in middle school.
I'm crazy for that, bro. No, it was cool to see though, like the how consistent you were and the why not factor as well. Because like I said, I was 240 in high school. I was a pretty big boy, and then that first 2-3 months of me lifting, seeing those newbie gains and seeing the gains that I made, I same thought. I was like, dude, I can do anything in this world. Like I was like, and imagine me in a year, 2 years, 5 years. I was like, there's nothing that can legitimately stop me besides myself.
And the biggest thing also is like the work you put into the gym, the more consistent you are in the gym, the better your work ethic becomes outside of the gym. Like I used to like procrastinate a lot. I used to not really care about like when I was applying to colleges and stuff, like I was like, should I even apply to college and stuff, bro? Like and at the time, like I had a pretty good GPA. Like I wasn't a dumb kid or anything. Like I was in good classes too, but like I was just so demotivated just because like the depression and stuff. But then as soon as I started being consistent, bro, like my productivity, like my mindset just completely changed. Like it was like I was like, bro, I was really like that. Like no, fuck that. Like I can do anything I want. Like if I could work this hard in the gym, bro, nothing's stopping me from grinding out like my assignments or grinding out what I want to like chase. Like it all comes down to just, are you willing to work for it? And if you are, then it's gonna come.
Yeah, the physical discipline breeds the mental discipline. Yeah, because you can. I mean, there's certain things that we have to do as part of like the steps we have to take towards our goal that are minimal in terms of the action, but it seems so much to get it started. But then you look at like the physical work, and you're like, damn, I just lifted 10 reps of, or 3 sets, 10 reps of 225, and like I push myself to the limit. I'm damn near about to pass out. Why can't I just do this one sheet of homework?
Exactly.
So you kind of understand like where you're coming from in terms of what you can accomplish. You don't always diminish the other things that you can do.
Yeah, and my thing was like I'm known as a hard gainer, right? So I'd have to start force feeding myself at a point, and I was like, if I can go to that extreme, imagine if I just transfer that over to like something else. So it honestly worked. Like the past year, like for my freshman year of college, like the amount of work I was doing, like I was not only doing, I'm a computer science major, right? So we already have a pretty high course load or workload.
I am too. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I was doing IT certifications 2 at a time outside of Mason. Plus, I was working also, and so I was doing all of that plus teaching. So all of that came from my work ethic in the gym. I was like, I can do all of this. Nothing's stopping me. And so I was able to not only pick up 2 certifications in a semester, I was able to get my classes done. I did 18 credits. I worked a part-time job, and I taught online. So I did all of that, and I still like felt like I could do more. And that only like came from the fact that I've worked so hard like in the gym and brought myself mental clarity. And like I crawled out of that phase where I was like super depressed and telling myself like, I just want to leave, I don't want to be here and stuff like that. And so as soon as like that happened, my life changed for the better. And that's why that was the biggest reason also why I wanted to start pushing like what I've learned on my page, because like I see everybody like, you know, they flex and they like do their content and stuff, but like you never really see a lot of people like being completely real with you. Like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't just start lifting like as a normal kid. No, like I went through a phase of like serious depression, body dysmorphia, abusing the wrong things, being with the wrong people. I also, you know, got arrested COVID summer as well. Had to be in like house arrest stuff. Like I dealt with that whole phase, and then I crawled out of it, you know. So I know that it's possible. I see people like doubt themselves, and I'm like, no, bro, like you can do it. And that's my biggest thing. Like I want to show them like I did have a fucked up past. I did do fucked up things, but I crawled out of it, and that's only because of my mindset, you know. That's the biggest thing, is the mindset. Like if you keep doubting yourself, you're not going to go anywhere. But as soon as you start telling yourself like I can do it, and why can't I do it, and when you actually make an effort towards it, then it's just going to come. Like because not a lot of people work as hard, like not a lot of people work hard like as hard as you think they do. You know, like you see people that are rich, you see people that are big, and you're like, damn, they must be doing all this crazy stuff. But like half the battle is just showing up, bro. Half the time they're just there every day and doing the same thing over and over, and it just comes. Like
because you go in the gym, you see a dude that's like 2 to 3 times your size, thinking to yourself like, damn, he's probably doing 2 to 3 times the amount of work. But it's like, no, not really. He's just doing the same thing you've been doing, but over a longer period of time,
and more consistently.
Exactly. So the best asset that you have is the time the time of your age, and the time that the opportunity that you have with the time that you have.
And one of my biggest things is to inspire more of the younger generation, because I know a lot of kids nowadays, especially just because of how society has become, social media and all that, a lot of kids doubt themselves, and a lot of kids have body dysmorphia, and a lot of kids get depressed because on social media all you see is like all these perfect like looking human beings. But in reality, like I've seen it, like they're just half of it's edited, half of it's not even like real, half of it's just lighting. And so I'm trying to just show like people like it's like as good as these people look, they're not far from what you can be.
Exactly. And I think another important thing is the difference that you made between the right way to go about the things that you were struggling with and the wrong things that you did to cope with what you were going through. Because you know, whether or not it was mindset or faith involved before you even had faith like solidified, you were able to see that the temporary happiness you were getting from doing the bad things wasn't fulfillment. Like deep down, you got to do the things that you now know to be right, and the things that have shown progress and positive effect outside of just what that is.
Exactly. That was the thing. Like I was doing the wrong way about things. Like I was getting temporary pleasure, but then it just come right back. I'd go back to my room and it'd be right back there. And I'm just like, what can fix this? Like, you know, what can be a long-term solution for this? Because I was to a point where my friends were concerned, my family was concerned, people were like talking to like the school and stuff, and it was just like, I was just trying to tell them, just like leave me alone. Like, and I didn't know how to explain myself, right? And so, like that really just
Yeah, he
Yeah, it
had
was
your
just-
back.
yeah.
He had your back 100%,
Yeah.
even when you didn't think that he was there.
Yeah.
So we did
Yeah.
talk about how you did grow your faith.
Mhm.
What really got you to grow your relationship with God? Because you said in the last couple months you've been really focused on it. What was really that driving factor that really made you sit down and step back and really focus on your faith?
It was honestly, so the last, like, I'd say the start of the year, like, I had been in a good place, like, my page was going up, but then, like, all of a sudden, from, like, my birthday to, like, January-ish, like, I went through this phase again where I was so demotivated. I actually started skipping the gym for the first time in 2 years. I would be, like, really depressed in my room, like, crying and not even knowing why, like, I'm crying and stuff. Like, I just felt, like, complete, like, ass.
Yeah.
And, like, what triggered the thing with God was, like, one day I was just like, let me see if God will do anything.
Mhm.
So I sat for hours. I prayed. And, bro, those next just couple weeks, bro, I was just consistent, like, praying and, like, doing that. Like, I just noticed, like, all of a sudden, like, I'm, like, not worrying about things as much as I was. I'm not, like, getting that stressed anymore. Because that was my biggest thing, bro. I was, like, stressing over, like, the smallest things. Like,
That don't even
literally going crazy over the smallest things. And, like, as soon as I, like, got that little bit of peace, I was like, wait, I could actually, like, this.
You can function without anxiety.
I could actually function without this. And then that caused me to start doing research. And when I did more research and found out, like, how loving and forgiving God really is, and what he can actually provide for you, it really changed my mindset, and it really brought me the most peace I've ever had in my life. Because, like, I was so focused on these worldly and materialistic things, and I wasn't spiritually right. My mental wasn't right. But as soon as I connected with God and I realized, like, bro, this world doesn't really matter like that. Like,
this world has really nothing to offer.
Literally.
Like, I mean, that's for some people that they're a little different, but for me, like, I grew my faith last summer, and like you said, exactly the way you put it, like, the amount of peace that I got from it after praying on what I asked God for, it was just beautiful. And I feel like you said, this earth really doesn't have as much to offer as people think about, because people are so involved in the flesh and the materialistic things that this world has to offer. They're not really focused on the soul, and people really tend to forget that you still have a soul to tend to, not just the flesh. And once I started focusing on the spirit, the amount of peace that I get day in and day out, and the things that there's just nothing really that can bother me.
And nowadays, like, when I wake up, my biggest goal is, like, how can I please God today? And it used to be, like, how can I please these other people today? And with that little switch right there, best decision of my life. Now, when I'm focused on pleasing God, that's when I get happier. That's when I get more peaceful. But as soon as I start focusing on how can I please these other people, that's when all that stress and anxiety comes back. That's the biggest factor. It's who are you trying to please? It should be God. Because once you please God, everything comes to you.
Exactly. It's that synchronous relationship between doing good and receiving good. It's karmic debt. One thing that I definitely resonated with what you said is the relief of stress that you have, because for me it was through my faith I'm in good hands, like Allstate. And so with that said, the anxiety of the day-to-day things I'm not stressing about, because I know someone has my back. As, like, the bare bones way to go about it is someone has my back. So to think, like, someone could have my back through the lowest lows and the highest highs, but always love me unconditionally, you do what you can to, like you said,
Please him day in and day out.
when
you wake up,
it's like you're in a relationship. Like, you want to give what that person gives to you, but in this, it's an omniscient being. So there's never too much to give. Like, it's always doing the best you can in every single day that you can, and being grateful.
And it was like,
you get to do it.
It was like during my lowest, when I really was isolated, I didn't have anybody. He was the only one that was there.
And I feel like back then you don't even know.
No, you don't.
Like, back then, I mean, when I was at my lowest, I would say probably during quarantine of 2020, right as the end of my senior year. I graduated in 2020, so my lowest was probably post high school going into 2021. And back then you wouldn't know that you have God on your side, because you're so focused on this world and focused on things that are negative, and you're so absorbed by them, and just it's just, you don't understand that God's by your side. But as time goes on, you realize that he's always there, and he's always has your back, like unconditional love, like you said.
Exactly.
And just giving him attention is all the realization that it takes. Because, excuse me, like you said, when you reflect back, and you look like, damn, like I had no right to get out of that situation, or I had no, like, it's almost like luck. People call it luck, but I've moved away from luck because I realize there's just not much, like, there can't be that lucky.
I think luck is just preparation meets opportunity.
Exactly. There's zero omniscient way. Like, there's nothing random about it. Luck is more like what you said.
I don't really believe in luck because I wanted this moment. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've always dreamed of this moment, if you will, and I know that now that I'm able to grasp this moment and I'm able to handle it, I feel like that's luck, if you will. Because I feel like if you will, like your page, for example, like you're growing this following that you've had the last couple of years. You weren't allowed to have it yet because you weren't ready for it, if you will.
Prepared.
Yeah, you weren't prepared for it. That's the word I was looking for. I couldn't find it. But yeah, if you
also, like, I wanted to just touch on one more thing. Like, I mentioned I had gotten like arrested during COVID 2020, right?
Same.
And since it was COVID, like, it made the situation worse. Like, the processing, all that stuff, it was so delayed. Like, I was supposed to be there way longer, but the only thing I was praying every single day, crying my eyes out to God, right? And then one day, magically, they said, we don't know what happened, but you get to go. Literally, that's literally, they just said, we don't know what happened, but consider yourself lucky.
Consider yourself lucky.
That's literally their exact words. They said, consider yourself lucky, because like it was COVID time, so like everybody was isolated. Like, they weren't processing anything. Nobody was at work.
Yeah.
And so they expected me to be there for months. I got it in like a couple weeks.
Damn,
and like,
so you were there for a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I want to definitely touch on that. Too, I can relate with that.
Yeah.
I was only for a day.
Yeah. And so but then I had kind of strayed away from it, and then going back to when I went through that phase again, like this past like year, come December to January, right? That's what I remembered. I was like when I was at my lowest, when I was going through that, God really did come through. So let me try to turn to Him again. Because I had kind of strayed from that. I kind of took it for granted, right? Like, He got me out of that situation, and then I kind of just strayed, and I think that was very selfish of me, and that's probably why like all that stuff came back. And then as soon as I turned back to Him, He came running, and so that's why I haven't gone back since. Like, now I know like there's a purpose, there's a plan for everything, and if you really just build that connection with God, you will be fine.
It's that faith. It's that faith that
you could be sitting. One of my favorite quotes is, "You could be sitting on top of an active volcano, but if your relationship with God is okay, you're gonna be the happiest person in the world. Yeah, with not a worry.
Yeah,
I feel like I mean that's facts.
Got your back.
I don't know. Nothing really bothers me anymore since I've gotten closer to God last summer. Ever since I met Mark last summer, bro, it's like weird as shit. Like nothing can, dude. I totaled my car in January. I probably told you that. I was bothered for like 5 minutes max, but like literally, like, you can ask Matt. Like, when I got back to the crib, because he works around the corner at the time. We were supposed to go do something that day and record an episode, and he stopped by my house literally like 5 minutes after me getting back from the scene. And bro, he probably could tell you like I was unbothered. Like like most people would be blown as fuck. And I was blown, of course. I was kind of just like, damn, I don't have a car, I can't get around. And that's what really hit me. But it wasn't like I had faith that it'll all work out. Yeah. There's nothing just bothers me anymore. And I feel like that's just such a piece that people don't understand. Yeah. I wish more people could understand.
As soon as you just tell yourself like, all right, this is either a test or it's just God's plan, and you trust it,
you gotta trust it.
Yeah, I have faith everything will work out. Like, I just want to be used as a vessel from God, and I just want everything to work out in His image and what He wants, and that's why I don't like to force anything on my own hand. I just have faith that everything will work out, and all the thoughts that come to my mind are from the Lord. So
especially nowadays, bro, like social media and stuff, and
crazy,
especially this country. Like, I don't want to bash like this country, but at the end of the day, the stuff that they're pushing, like, to just the children, the kids, the youth, it's absolutely disgusing, and it's straying away from God.
That's just the biggest part about it is no matter how people look at it, it's just lack of religion. Now, if people can argue atheists or not, or I mean, I guess you're really atheist or you're religious. It's not like it's really any in between, regardless of what religion it is. But it's just one or the other. It's that, like, look what happens when you don't ground yourself in religious moral. It's the hyper individualism that comes out in ways that is bad. I'm like
It's degeneracy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a firm believer that a bad idea exposes itself as a bad idea just based off of time. All you have to do is give it time, and it will show itself that it was not meant to be.
Yeah, and you can just see what's
prosperous.
happening with the families, the marriages in this country, like all that, just because they've strayed away from God. Like God would never want any of this. Like God wants you to have a family. God wants you to, raise a good family and build that name. Though He doesn't want you to be doing all this stuff where you're focused on social media, focused on comparing yourself to people that are literally like editing themselves or like pushing like the wrong agendas into like the minds of children and stuff. I don't really want to touch on that because I'll probably get flagged. But
yeah, you're right.
I feel like there's just not a lot of real love anymore.
Yeah,
no,
it's all materialistic.
I got people showing fake love to me. Shout out Drake. Not even that. I just feel like it's like you said. God doesn't want people to not have a good marriage, or they don't want them to have bad. Like they don't. He doesn't want them to have bad kids, or he doesn't want the things going on. Because at the end of the day, that's not his image.
A family is like one of the most beautiful things like to ever happen.
There's so many broken homes nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily definitely a destroyed home. It's not a broken home. It's just like you see so many divorces nowadays.
It's like normalized.
It's normalized, and it's fucking nuts. Because I remember being in like 4th grade, and somebody's parents would get divorced, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, like that shit's crazy. But the more you talk to everyone in elementary school, you realize there's a lot of parents that are divorced, and it's sad that it is normalized nowadays.
In the single mother household, but just single parent households in general. Like people don't understand, or whether they do or don't, they're not acting on their understanding that a man and a woman in a household with children both are equally as important. There's things that the man brings, there's things the woman's needs, and without one or the other, it highlights on either side what the kid is missing.
Yeah, now you got things like feminism and stuff trying to push men to be more feminine, females to be more masculine, and it's like that's why the homes are broken. That's why the marriages are getting broken. It's 'cause like you got women trying to be men, and you got men being forced to be women because in this country, like if you're a man, like you're just you're expected to just put up with it and just like get through it. But if you're a woman, like you get like, just for example, like in the marriage thing, like a woman can literally divorce a man and just take everything,
money,
everything, the children, money, everything. So it's like now, like when you have the men all depressed in a country, how are you gonna have a strong country with depressed men?
Exactly.
Like, and then at the end of the day, all throughout history, men have been the one who build these societies, who run the societies and stuff. So if you have broken men, you're gonna have a broken country.
And you have broken men with loveless women.
Exactly.
And then you have a suicide rate that is astronomical in terms of the male side.
There's a bunch of things I feel like that go into that rate, but I mean, just in general, say more evil time. A time of less love, and it's something that, like, I feel like we can all relate onto this couch, even the hidden man in the background.
Shout out Fran behind the camera.
I feel like everyone can relate that there needs to be more love in this world, and all of our goals with the page that you have, you want to spread a positive message to everybody. Me and Matt ourselves, we want to spread a positive message with this and just help everyone evolve into a positive being. I feel like there just needs to be more love in this world, and over time, as you said, only time will tell where we're going.
Only time will tell.
So right now, I think it's the first week of April, second week of April. So right now, you are actually fasting, right, during Ramadan? So when does Ramadan end?
So it's actually
it's like 420, right?
Yeah, this is kind of actually like it's a very iffy topic because we kind of go according to the moon. So it's supposed to end April 20th, but like it could fluctuate between like the 20th, 21st, 22nd. It's
like that night.
Yeah, so it kind of just depends on the moon, but it's around 30 days of fasting, and then once that new moon comes out, we see the moon, and that's when we celebrate our Eid.
So for fasting, just if no one knows, so what would that entail?
So it entails you wake up, and you have to eat before the sun rises. So right now it's about 5:30 a.m. So you gotta eat before then, and then no food, no water for the whole day until sundown, which is right now around 7:35 p.m. So it's a little bit different than normal fasting that people think of, where you can drink water and stuff. It's a complete fast where no water, no food, no nothing. And the whole reason behind it is because we as humans, this is what Islam teaches us. It's we as humans, like, we take a lot of things for granted, and there's a lot of people in the world that are literally have nothing compared to us. So it's a time for us to humble ourselves and, you know, appreciate the fact that we do have all these things.
Oh yeah.
And it's a time to just build our inner peace and stuff, because honestly, like, that's one of the biggest things about Ramadan. Like, it's one of the most perfect times to really, like, translate how you want to be for the rest of the year. Because like, while you're fasting and stuff and you're practicing, because you're not only supposed to fast from food, you're supposed to restrain from, like, let's say, like, cursing and all, like, your little bad habits. You're supposed to, like, restrain,
like cleanse, right?
restrain as much as you possibly can, because, and when you do that, dude, it's like, I can speak from, like, experience. Like, once you start, like, I used to love, like, roasting people with my boys and stuff like that, and, like, just all this, like, stupid shit like that. But, like, as soon as, like, you start to just, like, back off from those things, and you're practicing your fast, and you're practicing, like, you know, staying away from that stuff, like, you honestly just start to feel better as a person, mentally, physically, like, all that. And, like, also, one thing about fasting is, as soon as you open your fast, you literally won't be hungry anymore. And you're like, and it makes you realize, like, how small the pleasures of this world really are. Like, you go, like, starving the whole day. As soon as you eat a small bite, you're like, dang, I'm almost full. So it's like, it's a really good time for patience and peace and stuff, and getting closer to God. And it's also the time during this month our holy book, the Quran, was revealed. So it's also very important for us in that aspect. But yeah, and honestly, my biggest thing also in Ramadan is, like, it kind of just helps me kind of reset my body and my mind. And this year I'm kind of working on, my biggest goal is to control my anger. That's what I've been working on this Ramadan personally. But I know a lot of people work on many other things that really they can carry over for the rest of, like, the year.
That's dope. I never actually knew that it was I'd be very ignorant. Up in, like, middle school, high school, I would just think it's a fast. Like, I just know people don't eat during the day. That's all I knew. I never knew people actually restrain from habits like that. Yeah. And that's super dope to see, because I would, like, actually want to try that. Yeah. Like, try to fast myself from habits, fast myself from, of course, food and water, but just trying to eliminate bad habits that I have personally. Yeah. And it's super cool to see that people actually do that.
And it's honestly, like, the best time. Like, for me, like with smoking, I use this as time to, like, stop doing that. And now, like, I haven't bought, like, a vape or anything, like, in probably 3 to 4 weeks since Ramadan started. I haven't smoked since that started. Like, it's been honestly great. Like,
I feel much better.
Yeah, my body's been amazing. Like, last year, like, when I was doing all this stuff still, I'd just sleep my days, do the fast, and wake up and stuff, be, like, absolutely unproductive, stay up all night and stuff. But that's technically wrong in our religion. You're not supposed to do that, because it kind of defeats the purpose.
I was just about to say, Jesus system.
Yeah. And then, so this year, I noticed, like, as soon as I stopped those bad habits and really started focusing on cutting down the other bad habits too, like, I wake up and I have the most energy in the world. Like, before this, I was working on my car to have my door panel off and stuff. Been doing that the past few days. I work, like, 7-hour shifts easy, and I go volunteer and open my fast, and then come back to my homework and stuff. Like, my energy levels, my productivity, all has benefited from this month. And so that's why I think it's, like, a really important time. And I think that a lot of people, like, mistake it for being just, like, starving yourself, but that's not the case. It really helps build your character and, like, your mental clarity.
My boy Min actually he said he'd do the same thing every fast. He's 22 or 23. He's a little older than me, and he says every fast he would do the same thing, kind of cheat the system. Yeah, not necessarily not fast, but like do things to get around it, to make it easier for yourself. Yeah. And he said this year he did it like to the book, like how you're supposed to. And he says he has never felt so much productivity, mental clarity, energy, just everything. He says everything has been like insane. Like when he picked me up last week, when I told him, he was like, bro, it's been like amazing. Like he was like, I have this meal in the back for after. He does 2 a day, so he'll DoorDash like all day, and then he has the boxing, so he's like an amateur boxer, and then he'll also sometimes work out at XCal. So then he'll do the 2 a days, and he's like, dude, I kid you not, dude, like these like 2 a days have been a breeze. Like the food in my the back of my car, I don't even think about eating it, because at the end of the day, I'm so like grateful for what I have, and I'm getting energy like through God. And I was like, that's super fucking dope,
I've
dude.
Been working I work at Nike right now in retail, and so it's one of like the busiest stores.
Wait, you work at the outlet?
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah. Cute. And so it's obviously it's one of the most busiest stores in the whole place, right?
Yeah, that is crazy.
But the thing is, like, ever since I got hired right when Ramadan started too, so it was like I kind of took that as a little sign, like from like God too. And thing is, the past 2 weeks, like, I've been fasting, but yet I've held the records in the store for the most registrations, the most signups, the most
that's
surveys.
tough, Rafay.
Like, managers are literally coming up to me and they're like, yo, like, you're outperforming our veterans. And I'm doing all this while fasting, and I'm just like,
I'm locked in.
yeah, I'm locked in. Like, I have so much energy. Like, I'm like, I see them like drained and stuff, and I'm like, if I'm fasting and I can do this, like, there's no excuse, man.
Yeah,
There's no
no
excuse at all. Yeah.
What are there any like challenges, through mental or physical, that you get while doing Ramadan? Like whether it's lifting or just, you know, like I mean, so that there isn't like mental benefit from focusing.
Highlight that, like on the lifting side.
Yeah, I would definitely say with lifting. So my biggest thing was, at least last year, I was really scared to like lose my gain and stuff. Obviously, I'm coming from where I started. You know, I was like, I can't go back to that. But
That's when I met you. Was
Yeah.
actually when you were fasting last year.
Yeah, and then I realized, like, dude, I was just overthinking that too. Because all you really have to do is switch your eating window. So like, you can still get in your 3 meals plus a 4th meal even if you wanted. So like, what I do is, when I open my fast, I'll have like a small meal with like carbs, juice, dates, and then Shilajit tea. And that's like around, I'll have like 500-600 calories right there. I'll go work out, like a full-on workout with the most energy I've ever had in my
In the
life.
morning
Like,
or at night?
no, at night.
Yeah, at night. Yeah, true.
So we go and we cut our like workouts down to 45 minutes. They used to be 2 hours, but we're getting the same work done. So it's like our energy levels have been great, and then we come back, have a big meal, pray, and then we go back and have another meal at home. And then at 1 to 2 a.m. I'm hungry again, I'll eat. And then before like 5 o'clock, I'll have my last meal to close my fast. And so this year I've literally been making progress rather than losing progress.
That's fine.
Yeah.
How when do you sleep?
So I sleep around I sleep around 2:30, and then I have like a 2.5 hour, like, I'd say, nap until it's time to wake up to close my fast, right?
You've been on a 2-hour nap every day for the past month. And
Yeah, but so basically, like, I do that. I wake up, I eat, and then I pray to close my fast, and then I'll go back to sleep for like another 4 to 5 hours.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And then so I just split my sleep up a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say you are high functioning. Truly, that means
Shit, like we said,
yeah.
God, give them that energy.
Yeah.
Do you say? I mean, so are you lifting the same amount of days? You're just cutting the hours down to like 45.
Same amount of days, same routine, same exercises. We
How many days a week?
6 days a week.
Fire,
Yeah.
bro.
No, 7 actually. 7, yeah. 7,
What?
yeah.
Well, like an active day?
Huh?
Like an
Yeah,
active
yeah.
day?
So we kind of have like we use Sundays as either like we do
Cardio
stuff like
class.
sleds and stuff, or like we'll do
The
just
sleds are
shoulders.
nice. I did sleds
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. Like those, that's a whole leg day right there.
Yeah, dude.
You
I
doing the
did the
sleds?
reverse, like the reverse walk with the
Yeah.
sled yesterday. As like a starter, I did not think.
Yeah, no, my first time, bro, I did one set, my legs were shaking.
Dude, yeah,
I
I was
couldn't
doing.
walk.
I did 3 plates there and back,
Yeah.
and I was like, bro, like this kid Dylan was trying to kill me
For
yesterday.
real.
It was
on the turf.
Yeah, it's really nice. We'll probably be back there eventually. But I mean, is there any like so if like it's actually, you would say it's easier on the physical side this time around for Ramadan?
Yeah, honestly, like this time I cannot complain.
Like you don't even feel a difference in between last month.
Yeah, I honestly feel better. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel better. Like going into Ramadan the day before it started, I hit a, what do you call it? I was like,
The PR. Remember that day we were lifting? That night.
So basically, I had torn my rotator and I had to stop benching and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was working my way back up, and like my whole thing was I needed to get back to 225. And so right before Ramadan, I hit 215 again, like easy. Like it was the craziest thing ever. Cause like literally a month ago when I first started benching again, one set 65 was going up so slow, and I was like, dude, like this is so demotivating. But then it slowly came back, and then that progress has continued through Ramadan. Now I'm like, I'll rep 185 for a few reps, like easily, like, which I did not used to do because my shoulder, like, it would literally just like, it would come out and like just the whole thing would just be like so like messed up and stuff. And so now this year though, like, I have no complaints. Like my boy's using it as a time to cut, and then I'm using it as a time to just continue my progress. And obviously it's a leaner progress, like physically, but like strength wise, like it's steady.
Yeah. Can I ask, because like you said 6-7 days a week? At what point with 6-7 days a week?
So I've noticed, like, what I tell people when they like ask me like how many days I should rest and stuff, like, it is important to rest, but at the same time, it's important to go according to your body. Like, when I know that I need rest, I'll take that day off. Like last week, I knew that I was running low on sleep. I had worked an 8-hour shift, and then I volunteered for 4 hours, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna go to the gym. Like, I need to just
carb up, eat my food, and rest. So like I took that whole day just to do that. But then I'll have like weeks where like I can go like a week to 2 straight with just like going every single day and like not face any soreness or any issue. But so my biggest thing is I tell people go according to what your body tells you, because everybody's body is different. Like if someone can tell you like do this amount of sets, do this amount of reps, but you won't make the same progress as them because your body's different. Like for me, for example, like I'm a more lankier person, so like my ranges of motion are a lot longer than let's say like a shorter person or like something like that. So like I have to make a lot of like adjustments towards my exercises so that I can like benefit from them. Like, I used to just stick to like listen to like people like do it like this with this form and stuff, and like it would just literally like hurt me. Like, I would be getting hurt, and so my biggest thing I tell people is like, first of all, I can like tell you the exercises and stuff like that, the amount of sets and reps to do, but it's up to you to like find those little adjustments towards your body. What makes you comfortable, what makes you stronger, and it's just testing your body out. Like when you go, you'll notice your body can do certain things easier than other things, while other people can do the complete opposite. So like once you find what you perform best at and stick to that, that's what I tell people to do. Because that like when I do that, like I can go weeks without even having to take a rest day, and I feel so good about it. And like when I do need rest, I'll take that rest. But other than that, like progress will come. It's just everybody's body's different, and that's why like I'm also part of my page. What I'm trying to tell people is like, don't just like straight up listen to people what they're telling you. Like they're just gonna tell you what to tell you because they're trying to obviously get their views and stuff. Not a lot of people actually care. Like if you ask any like if you go to any like professional, like let's say Mr. Olympic or something, like they all train a little bit different. They might do the same exercises, but they all have little tweaks that they have to adjust towards their body. So I'd say that's the biggest thing about it. Like it's your body's completely different from everybody else. No one's the exact same, so you gotta go for it.
I definitely enjoyed this. We'll definitely have to do something in the future for sure. This episode will be posted sometime next week. I hope everyone listening did pick up on something today. It was me myself. I picked up on something for sure, and
learned a lot.
Definitely won't be the last time. We'll probably make an episode. I'm sure guests will come on. We'll have future crossover episodes with different people. But without further ado, I wish everyone a blessed day. I wish everyone just blessings. Whatever they're going through in life, I hope everyone gets through it. And without further ado, I'm going to be out ski.
Peace, y'all.
Thanks you guys for having me on.
That was fire.